What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Eon here. Welcome back to the channel for the 5th episode of my Valhelsia 3 adventure. Enjoy the video. Hey everyone, before we get started with this episode, I just wanted to introduce you to my new Discord server. It's called Eon's Gaming Lounge. It's an ever-growing community and I'd love for you to join. You can find the link in the description. Alrighty then guys, let's get started. Went ahead and brought you up here so I could show you where I finished these fluid extractors in between episodes. I went ahead and made a couple more. I made this block placer, so it places the tree trunks in the middle, and then the fluid extractor pulls the, let's see, what is it called? Latex out, that's what it is. And it pumps through these pipes down into this tank. This tank pumps into this latex processing unit, which also has an electric pump here to pump in water. And it gives us tiny dry rubber. Now this tiny dry rubber, we can take and craft it up just like this into normal rubber. And if I go here, I can shift click all of that in there. So we got 28, and that's because I sat for about 8 hours today AFK next to the blaze spawner. Picked up 120 experience, or almost. And yeah, that's about all I've done in between episodes. So we got a lot to do today, as you can see over here. I want to get started with the flux networks first, so we're going to have to go back down to our base and pick up a couple things. I'll put everything for the flux networks in here. I'm going to throw the dry rubber in there. I'll throw that in there for now, and that in there for now. Alright, so we're going to have to go down to bedrock level. Alright, I think I finally figured out how to do this. So what we do, we toss maybe 2 stacks of redstone underneath it. Well, that didn't really go underneath it, did it? Let's see. Toss them like that. And then click the obsidian. And we get flux dust. So that worked perfectly for once I figured out how to do it. Okay, so let's hop back up. Okay, so now that I got the flux dust, we need to craft some flux cores. So I'm going to make as many of these as I possibly can, which seems to be 8. And then we're going to need to use these flux cores to make some flux blocks. Actually, just 1 flux block. And then we use the flux block to make a flux plug, which is going to take power from where we're generating it at, and then transfer it wirelessly to a flux point, which I have to craft next, which uses a redstone block. First things first, we're gonna need to get some more obsidian. And I think we can get that with a petal apothecary. So I'm gonna make one of those real quick. Run outside and grab a petal for my Botania thing that I set up. It's not really a Botania thing, it's more so just a place where I was bone milling the flowers to get more dye. But I can take one of these petals. There we go. We're gonna need some iron. That'll do it. Make a few buckets. Actually 2 buckets. We'll use these 2 buckets to make an infinite water source over here next to the petal apothecary. And the reason I'm using this method is to get the obsidian is because I have a ton of blaze rods because I was AFKing earlier next to our blaze spawners, so just works out, I reckon. Toss that there. I need obsidian. I need a pure daisy. So that's white petals. 2, 4. Huh. Oh, that mashes it in dye. That's my bad. I'm confused over here. And then we need just a seed. There's our pure daisy. Drop the pure daisy down right here. And I believe we just go grab some blaze rod blocks, or blaze blocks, or whatever they're called. And we just set those around it like we would do with the living wood or living stone, if you know what that is. Ah, there it goes. It was working magically. So, let's mine this up real quick. I guess there probably could be a better way to make obsidian. Probably could have just went down in the mine and picked it up. But if we ever do Botania, we'll need these pure daisies later anyway, so it's fine with me. And I don't have to deal with trying to turn lava into obsidian. Alright, and there's our last 8 flux cores. Let's use these. I'm actually going to make a flux block, an extra one, because that's what I need. Yeah. I made an extra flux block so that we can craft more flux in the base instead of having to go all over the world for it. Or put back down to bedrock. You get the point. There we go. And that should give us plenty of flux for the next future. Alright, so I grabbed everything outside of this chest that I figured I would need for this episode. Might end up having to make more of it later. I want to make some more of these, so 24 should be plenty, which actually was 30 because I already had a couple. And I want to make a new power source, which is going to be these thermoelectric generators. They're pretty good for early game renewable power, and this setup that I found is infinitely expandable and pretty cheap. So let's make some engineer's wire cutters, and let's cut down this copper. Now let's use this copper to make some wire coils, and this to make some blocks. I made 12 blocks. I think that's a little more than I was planning on making. Actually, it's less than I was planning on making. So let me grab this last 28 copper that I smelted down. Ooh, we gotta go turn this into plates. Right, plates just finished up. I grab these and turn them into wires too. Maybe that'll be enough. Alright. Well, we got some leftover Constantan plates, but this should be plenty of thermoelectric generators for now. So let's go get these set up. I think for now we're just going to set them up over here on the same island. We're just going to set it up right over here. It's subject to change later because probably, hopefully, next episode we'll be building our base in the middle, and then everything's going to center around that. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think. Let me count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So then that goes there, just like that. And these I'm doubling these up for my design, because from what I could tell, this was the most efficient way to do it. Now, I want to get ice on one side, magma on the other, and we want to go opposite sides, so alternate them. Just like this. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Wait, I did that wrong. Alright, now it's generating power. So I covered this whole side of magma blocks, this whole side in ice. And then I'm going to grab, well, it looks like the only building blocks I got are redstone blocks. So I'm going to hop right up here. Cover this top half in cables. And hop down. Now I'm going to come over here, and I'm actually going to steal all 3 of these because I ran out. I'm going to upgrade these solar panels here in a minute too. And honestly, I could probably just yeah, craft some more. So going to then bring this here and that there and connect up a flux plug to it. We'll put the password as password. Nobody will ever guess it. We'll set disable limit, chunk loading, and surge mode enabled. So now that we have a flux plug hooked up to that, we're going to connect a flux point over here with the rest of our network. And I don't want to do it there. Take this back up one, connect it there, connect it to that. We'll turn all this back on. So next I want to upgrade these solar panels, and in order to do that we're going to need an energizing rod. We're going to make some of these, or one of those, and we're going to have to actually make a couple of them, looks like. Alright. I'm probably going to need more of those, but for now that's that, and that's that. So there's our energizing rod and an energizing orb. So the way this works is we throw the rod connected to power. You see it's filling up with power pretty quickly. Because this is, I say this would be generating more than 50 per tick. The top is connected, the bottom's connected. All of these are staying full, so maybe it just can't accept more than 50 per tick. That's probably the problem. This thing probably can't accept more than 50 per tick at its current level. Then we set up a cube, or an orb, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to need gold and iron. So we throw a piece of gold and a piece of iron, and it's going to start charging that. And that recipe is going to give us, if I can find it, energized steel. There we go. So we got 2 of that, and we're going to need a good bit more. Alright, I got 10 energized steel made up, and we're going to throw this right in here and make some hardened capacitors. Which means we need to make a couple of these large capacitors, and then we just need 2 of those, so that'll work fine. And we need another one of these, I think. We already used all of ours. And there's our hard solar panel, so that's going to generate 40 Fe per tick, which isn't a whole lot, but for completely renewable power in this form factor, I mean, you really can't beat it. And eventually, we can get these solar panels upgraded all the way here to generate 1.2 thousand Fe per tick. Now, we're back in the base, and we're here because I want to get a mob slaughter factory set up. And this is going to help us with pretty much everything to do with industrial foregoing in the future. So we're going to need 2 iron axes and a gold gear. We're going to need our plastic, which we have 28 of, and a stack of that will do. So there's our machine frame and our mob slaughter factory. And to go along with this, we're going to need some of these. And I'm out of iron. Okay. So let's grab one of those. Grab another one of these, and then one of those. And alright, I went and grabbed my flux point from up top and connected it up down here. And now we got ink slime and liquid meat coming in here. So I'm going to break this. I'm going to break that. And I'm going to set these 2 up here. Just want my liquid meat to go out that side. And I want my pink slime to push out that side. So that's going to help us in the future. I wonder if liquid meat is still the most overpowered food in the game. Used to, you could just like swim in it and it would like make your saturation and hunger go all the way up. But it doesn't look like it does that anymore. So, it's a bummer. It'll be alright. Now these last two machines I want to get set up so I can make concrete, because as you saw in between episodes I also got this set up, which all the concrete's going to help me make my new base. So we need a material stonework factory. I did not realize that we needed a dissolution chamber for this. So, well, let's see if we can make one of these real quick. 4 of those to make. Here, I'll add that there. So, and I need a chest. Make some wood real quick. Grab a chest. Dissolution chamber. Now we got all of the resources to make our dye mixer. So now we have a dye mixer and a dissolution chamber set up. And we're gonna go put that up top real quick. And I think we'll call it from there. Alright, there's that, and there's that. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please leave a like and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one.